Can a city feel intelligent? If so, Oxford is one of the best places to find out. The famous University of Oxford has produced 55 Nobel laureates and 30 British Prime Ministers. It is the world's oldest English-speaking university with a history stretching back over 900 years. We'll take you to the must-see spots like the Christchurch College and the Bodleian Library. We'll go on a traditional boat tour and even find out where Oxford students graduate. So let's see how smart the vibe of this world-class university city really is.
Oxford is one of these places that feels really intelligent, not only because the people here have come here to learn, but the teachers are around and they're looking to teach. There's students in libraries constantly, there's people walking up and down the street and you overhear them talking about their philosophy classes. But Oxford is one of these places where it's actively seeking to learn, actively trying to find new knowledge and encouraging other people to learn as well. My name is Eloise, I'm a student here at Oxford. I'm doing a Master's in Social Archaeology and I will be your guide today.
Christchurch College is one of the most beautiful colleges in the city.
Hiya, good morning.
It's more than 500 years old and one of 39 colleges that make up Oxford University. So, what's behind all those windows?
This is just accommodation. Your college really is just where you end up sleeping and studying, and so all of these windows and all these doors just lead up to student dorms. You each get a room to yourself. You have a little single bed and a desk and a wardrobe, and you end up looking out over these lovely views. So it is very special, it is very magical.
Another highlight reserved for Christchurch College students and their guests. The dining hall, where students have breakfast, lunch and dinner. Does this room look familiar to you?
It's also known as the Harry Potter dining hall. They did take a lot of inspiration from this hall as the Harry Potter dining hall, but they didn't actually film here. Because as you'll see, there are only 3 long tables, and everyone knows Hogwarts has 4 houses. So they came in here with all their film crew, took loads of pictures and rebuilt it in Warner Brothers Studios.
Portraits of famous alumni line the walls, giving students a sense of the history and achievement that surrounds them. How does that feel?
It is a little bit intimidating, but at the same time, it's a huge privilege because you realise you're in the same space that they are and you have the opportunity to grow just as they did.
Our next stop is a city landmark and a bit exclusive, the Radcliffe Camera, home to the History Faculty Library.
It is very, very much restricted just for Oxford students. So it is something you get if you come and study here. It's sort of the pride and kudos of being able to go in and use the books there and use the library there. You're not allowed to go into this building, but we can go into other libraries. So if you guys want to follow me this way, I'll take you to the Bodleian.
We head to the historic Bodleian Library, one of the oldest libraries in Europe. It was named after diplomat and librarian Sir Thomas Bodley.
In 1609, he went to London. He had a meeting with the London Stationers Company, and it's with them that he agreed that for every one book that they published, the Bodleian Library would be entitled to 1 free copy. And that makes this library one of 6 copyright libraries in the UK, and part of the reason why we have 13 million books.
The oldest part of the library dates back to the 17th century. The precious books are protected by a digital alarm system today, but in the past, a very different alarm system was used.
They used a very medieval system of chaining the books to the shelves. There are lots of problems with a chained book, not least the noise. The other problem, when you chain a book, you can't put it through the spine. You have to put it on the front, and then when you put the book on the shelf, the chain rubs and it damages the binding on the book. And so their crazy solution was to put every book on the shelf that way round, and you can see where the chains were.
Many movies have been filmed in this library, including Harry Potter.
I'm standing here in front of the restricted section in Hogwarts Library, and it does give you a thrill when you watch the film and you think, oh yes, I know that.
We're impressed, and we wonder what others think about this city that's brimming with educational opportunities.
I feel stupid here most of the time.
I would love to study in Oxford, but it's very difficult to get in there.
Studying in Oxford
No, I think my GPA is too low. Oxford will not accept me.
It does feel like an intellectual center where anyone can meet anyone from around the world.
On to the next attraction, the Sheldonian Theatre. However, you won't find any actors here.
And this is where we have our degree ceremonies. You have your graduation ceremony that happens at the end of your degree, but you also have your matriculation ceremony, which happens at the very beginning of your degree. And so you matriculate here and you graduate here, so it's kind of like a bookend of your student life.
What makes it special is that the graduation ceremony is conducted entirely in Latin, but even Oxford graduates can barely understand it. Does that still make sense in this day and age?
We are very stubborn about maintaining our Latin. There's been regular votes in congregation to see whether people want to abandon their Latin ceremonies, but those votes never go through. People always want their Latin. And even last year, we actually updated the Latin to become more welcoming for gender-neutral students.
But don't worry, you can still order your beer in English at the pub. Even the most studious students make time for that.
I think students will always make time to go to the pub. We are very busy here at Oxford, but there is nothing that can stop you when it comes to having a quick pint at the pub in the corner. Okay, I have to go and study now, but if you want to spend more time in Oxford, I highly recommend getting on a punt.
We check out a punting boat tour. For about €40 an hour, you can hire a punt and try steering it yourself along the River Cherwell.
Punting history goes back hundreds of years. They were much bigger than the traditional sized punts you see today. They were used as cargo boats on the River Thames to move goods and people around. But as a leisure activity, it's been very popular since the 1860s, 1870s.
On a boat tour like this, even an Oxford degree won't help much. Most people feel a bit clueless.
Good steering. It is a very basic technique. You just have to have the pole in a straight line and push, and you will go straight. And then you use the rudder to steer. You know how to steer? Leave the pole behind like this. Okay. And move it through the water to the bank. Go that way. Okay, now turning left. Okay.
This unique tradition brings our tour of Oxford to a close. With its world-famous libraries, prestigious university and ceremonies still conducted in Latin, the city remains an intellectual hub, and you can still feel that today.